Yes. Hi. What if the thing that is keeping you stuck isn't fear? What, what if it's actually the absence of joy? What if your joy isn't some fluffy emotion? Yeah, it feels very fluffy these days. What if it's actually that fluffy emotion that we've been taught to chase isn't fluffy? What if it's the most powerful force that's actually available to us? I ask you again, what if joy isn't some fluffy emotion that we've been taught to chase, but like one of the most powerful forces available to us that can unlock the life of abundance that we've been chasing? Because here's a powerful question for you. Besides that one, I think that one was a little heavy for for some of you out there. But here's a question that I beg to ask. It gets to be asked. When was the last time that you actually made a decision that was based on joy instead of fear? When was the last time you made a decision based off of happiness instead of rejection? When was the last time that you made a decision based on the joy instead of rejection and fear of judgment and fear of not being enough or not being ready to be fully seen in your light? Because truthfully, that's not logic. That's not even practicality. It's not even obligation. It's not about what everybody else thought that you should do. Because joy, what is joy to you? Most people don't even know how to answer that question. What is joy? Because, it feels like to me like we have been taught how to live in fear, how to trust fear as our compass. That didn't work before. Don't do that again because you failed miserably. And half the time, we fail without even fully trying because fear sounds responsible. Fear sounds practical. It actually even sounds realistic and it tells us you're mature now, you're an adult. You got to be responsible. You got to take yourself seriously. You got to let other people's know you're serious. So, whew, you can't be in your joy. You can't be in your innate joy because joy to them and to the world and maybe even to you sounds reckless. It sounds selfish, childish, irresponsible, immature. And yet, what if we've been listening to the wrong advice, to the wrong guidance, to even the wrong voice within ourselves? What if we've been doing that all along? Because I want you to pause for a moment here. and ask yourself, just ask yourself, like, am I building my life around my fears, my doubts, my worries? Or am I actually creating my life around what makes me feel alive, feel expansive, connected? Like, am I creating life from a space that makes me feel worthy because other people are transforming because I chose myself. I chose my joy. Because these two paths, they they most certainly lead to very different destinations. Like let's just come to terms with that. If you're choosing from fear or joy, they're going to lead to two very different destinations. You know, and where I was several years ago, I realized that I didn't know what I was supposed to do because what felt like me wasn't accepted by society or by the people I thought that I trusted. And so after years of feeling alone and scared and broken, I had one final like coming to Jesus moment where I was like, okay, maybe there are other people out there in the world that can really help me. So I joined a leadership program a couple years ago, coincidentally after the shutdown, right? Because I think we all spiraled and we all either came to terms with who we are and who we aren't in the world during that time. And for me, it was no different. So I chose to jump into leadership and start my healing journey. And part of the project was completing a vision project. And I was like, okay, great. I'm going to have a coach. I'm going to have accountability. This is the time for me to show up and do the thing that I've been putting on the back burner for so long because I was telling myself like, yeah, my business gets to flourish. I get to monetize. I get to do what I love to do and make money doing it. But like the truth is, I was still feeling invisible, not enough, not an expert. I'm like, okay, who is going to be a yes for me when I still don't even know who I am? Like, I love research. I love community and interviewing people to learn. I love meeting new people and creating new connections. All these things were my joy spark. I was like, I can enroll myself. I can get behind being the reporter of other people's greatness and how they're showing up in the world. I can be the reporter because like there I can learn. There I can still be in the conversation and it'll support me. And so my vision project was to host a summit and interview these experts. And honestly, like it lit me up at first, but then my limiting subconscious beliefs very quickly from the beginning stages started to emerge. My coach couldn't get on the scheduled phone call. I made it mean something about me. The second time that we were supposed to jump on a call, I think I didn't set my alarm, so I forgot to jump on the call. And so I was like, there we go. I the world is conspiring against me. I must not be enough or important enough or good enough to get backed up and supported. And so that same story started to unfold in that moment. And I was like, yep, mm-hmm, proof right there. Proof right there that I'm not good enough. And it literally took my coach saying, hey, listen, you are supported. You are supported. And she called me 4 or 5 times over the course of 2 weeks and said, you are choosing not to be supported because the support is here. I'm here. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that has been the story of my whole life. So even though that vision project was perfectly aligned with who I am and what I wanted to do, I did absolutely nothing to make it happen for 2 months. I only had 3 months in the practice program, right? It was like I only had 3 months in the practice portion of this leadership program to yield my results. And I had already done like nothing for 2 weeks, 2 months. For 2 months, I did nothing because I allowed my subconscious and fear to narrate why why would people hire me? Why would these experts be a yes? What if I chose the wrong topic? What if I didn't ask the right questions? What if nobody showed up? What if nobody signed up? What if my experts didn't care enough to even share the link to invite people? Like there were all these variables. Even though like my joy, my body was a big yes. Like I was like, "Oh, this is going to be so good because I get to learn. I love learning. I don't know about you, but I love learning. Is that you?" And like this was doing the summit for me felt like an opportunity to learn from these experts as I was also supporting my community. And so naturally, what happened? Because my mind took over, I did nothing. I did nothing. I did absolutely nothing. I did more thinking than I did actual physical, tangible steps that were going to get me to completion. And it's not because I didn't know what I needed to do. It's not because I wasn't capable and it wasn't because I didn't care because I care. I care so deeply. It was just because my mind protected me. It was practical. It was showing me all the ways. I was like, yeah, no, no, no. We've gathered so much evidence up until now that you don't follow through. You don't have any certifications and titles. I was like, yeah, no, you're right. Why should I do that? So took the better, my mind took over, telling me like, yeah, who do you think you are? Does that sound familiar? Have you ever found yourself there where you enrolled yourself in your joy in this idea? You're like, and then like you found yourself being like, oh my gosh, yes, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I can't, oh, this is what I've been waiting to do. And this is, oh my God, this is going to help so many people. And it just feels so good and so aligned with who I am. And I just can't wait. This is just bringing me so much. And then all of a sudden, your mind is negotiating with you, telling you like, nope, mm-mm. Last time you tried this, remember? You bombed. So my mind really totally turned something that was exciting to me into a terrifying moment of uncertainty, of vulnerability. And the worst part is that I actually believed it. I sat there watching myself drift just further and further away from my joy spark, from my integrity, from my purpose. And I watched myself just move closer and closer to the fear, the doubt, to all the ways that I always break my word, watching myself abandon the very thing that I said mattered to me. And it's not because I was not committed, it was because I was really just operating from fear. And that was louder than my joy. Where in your life is fear currently making decisions for you? I want to ask you that. Where in your life are you currently allowing your fear to make decisions? What dream is it stealing? What conversation is it preventing? What opportunity is it blocking you from? What possibility is not opening up? Because we always convince ourselves not to pursue something. So have you convinced yourself not to pursue your dream, that thing? And it's not because you don't want it, it's because you are afraid. Your mind is protecting you. So eventually, what had to happen for me is that I had the opportunity to actually renegotiate this vision project in that moment. That gave me freedom because I was just like, okay, okay, because there was a lot of things showing up. I was like, I want to be my word. I want to commit to something that was going to move my business forward, like in a tangible way. To create a business. I needed to do XYZ, but like it wasn't bringing me joy. Like obviously it wasn't bringing me joy because I would have been doing it if it was. And so what I noticed in that moment by getting feedback from my cohort and my power group, my accountability group, and my coach was that when I am in my joy, I am unstoppable. I light up. I'm enrolling. People feel different around me. And, in that moment, we had about 33 days left to graduate. And I needed to complete this vision project in order for me to graduate and complete this program. And so I had a moment where I was just like, do I stick with my word and my integrity in creating the summit, or do I follow my joy? Everybody is saying that like not just that everybody was saying it, but I was feeling it. That was the important part. The important part was like at first it felt like a cop out. I was like, joy, that seems easy. Like, really? Really? Like that this is the project that I'm choosing is committing to 33 joyful moments. But they're like, yeah, when you're in your joy, Margarita, you're magnetic. You're inspiring. And when you're in your joy, like everything shifts for you. Everything changes for you. People want to follow you. You follow you. And so I was just like, wow, okay, maybe I should take your suggestion. So instead of finishing with my summit, I get to choose these 30, 33 days of joyful experiences. And I was just like, okay, like this, I was just like, what am I doing? Why did I spend all this money to have my vision project, the one thing that was going to stretch me, be about joy and having joyful experiences? I was just like, really, Margarita? Really? Like you taking the easy way out? And I was just like, wow. In that moment, and when I chose that and committed to it, I realized something simple but so profound. And it shifted the way that I saw myself and life so profoundly in that moment. Because for the first time in my life, I stopped looking for the evidence that life was hard. Are you looking for evidence on how life is hard and how you're broken, or looking for evidence in all the ways that you mess up life and that you're not enough? That was me. And so what this shift did for me was allow me, for the first time, to really find the joy in the moments, and every single moment. Washing dishes, hearing my kids arguing, hearing my kid, yeah, you heard me right. Hearing my kids arguing. I was even able to find joy in that, because the joy that was in that is that my kids are still living here with me, that I have children, that at some point in the future, I'm going to be so grateful and sharing these stories, and sharing all the ways that we loved and annoyed each other. That brought me joy in that moment. And that for me was the awakening. And suddenly I just felt like joy was everywhere. Washing dishes, walking my dog, listening to music, having a conversation with friends, in the work, like doing work for my business brought me joy, connecting with my community and my friends. And the most important thing is that I realized that joy really lives in the most simplest moments that I had overlooked for so many years. And that, my friend, is the awareness that joy is not a reward. It's fuel. It's fuel for our soul. It's fuel for understanding who we are at an energetic level. It is our birthright. It is our radiant circuit. And joy is it's not going to be something that happens after you create the life you want. It's not going to happen after anything. It's going to happen when you choose to allow that to be what helps fuel the creation. It's the literal joy is the literal thing that helps you create it. It's it's not going to save your life because it made you happy. It's going to save your life because it made you move. And that's what I realized in myself. Joy did not save me because it made me feel happy. Like it really literally saved me because it helped me move. It helped me move out of my negative thoughts. It helped me literally move my body. It helped me literally move my creative and like juices, and to allow possibility and opportunity to take over in that space. So like for me, movement is what really changed everything. Your body already knows what it needs to do. It needs to move, it needs to express, it needs to feel alive, it needs to come alive. And that's what joy feels like to me. So let me ask you something. What does joy feel like in your body? What does it look like? What, okay, let's come from not from the space of what it should look like or feel like, but like what does it actually express in you? What is your joy? express like. Because for me, joy is a superpower. When I'm in my joy, I'm courageous, I'm alive, I'm creative, I'm energized, I'm happy, I'm connected, I am willing, I am brave. I even become more likely to take risks. I am more likely to call a friend. I'm more likely to be a yes for that business venture or for that opportunity had I not been. I'm more likely to try something new and I'm actually more likely to believe that life is working with me instead of against me. When I'm in my joy, I don't just feel invincible because nothing can hurt me. I feel powerful because I remember who I am. And that's a very different thing. That's a very different thing. And that is powerful. And what if joy isn't just an emotion? What if it's information? What if joy is guidance? What if joy is your actual inner compass, bringing you back home to yourself? It's your joy spark. So pay attention this week. Pay attention this week to your joy spark, to that compass. Notice. Notice when something lights you up. Notice when your energy returns to your body. Notice, I mean, oh my gosh, notice when you're smiling even without trying. Just pay attention. Because when you notice, when you're off track and you lose track of time, I should say, no, when you notice that you lose track of time, and when you notice when you feel more alive after doing something, that's your clue. That's your clue. When you would do it anyway without being paid, that's your joy spark. That's your zone of genius, as Gay Hendricks so beautifully says. So follow your joy spark. And if you don't know where to start, ask yourself, what did I love doing as a child? What would I spend all my hours doing and losing track of time? What would I even do now, today, as a career, even if nobody paid me? And then like, what do you do that makes you feel more alive after doing it instead of depleting you? Those are all signs of your joy spark. That is where your joy spark often hides. And the truth is, your joy spark is rarely ever hidden. It's usually the thing that you've been talking yourself out of, like your mind protecting you from. It's the thing that you've dismissed. It's the thing that you've convinced yourself isn't practical. Well, I get, no, that's childish. That's silly. I need to be an adult. I need to be serious. We take ourselves way too seriously, first of all. Like, don't do that. But, like, seriously, joy is the one thing that your soul keeps bringing back to you again and again and again. Because maybe joy isn't random. Maybe joy is the actual directional compass. It is your homecoming beacon back to yourself. And it's, oh my gosh, it's your soul's way of whispering, hey, this way. Come here. Come, come. I have something fun to show you. Yeah, you're getting warmer. Come. That's your homecoming. That's your coming home. That's the ripple. And the beautiful thing that joy doesn't stop with you. It actually truly ripples. Because when you're in your joy, people feel it. People experience it. People are like immersed by it. When you're laughing, people laugh. When you're lit up, people light up. When you're alive, people become alive. Truth is, your joy gives others permission to choose theirs. And in a world right now that is full of criticism, fear, judgment, exhaustion, oh my gosh, loneliness, overwhelm, competition, your joy is not a small thing. It is leadership. It is healing. It is power, service, purpose. I leave you with this, my friends. Chase and follow your joy spark. Because when you're living from that space, you are magnetic and you create waves of change in the world. So here's your cup of awakening for today. Are you living from your fears or are you living from your joy spark? Because one path keeps you safe and the other one, oh my gosh, the other one is going to help you come alive. And it's going to help others come alive as well because you were the permission for yourself. And the truth is, you don't have to earn joy. You don't even have to deserve joy because joy is your birthright, right? You just perhaps, perhaps the most courageous thing that you can do right now in this moment is to follow it. Follow that spark. Follow that joy spark. One smile, one choice, one aligned, joyful moment at a time because joy didn't save my life. And joy is not going to save your life either because it made you happy. Joy is going to save your life because it helped you move. It helped you move through the fear, through the pain, through the judgment, through the pattern that's been holding you small up until now. And you don't have to get it right. You don't even have to get it perfect. You just have to stay consistent and have devotion. This was your cup of awakening. I am Margarita Rose. Sip it slowly. Until next time, I will see you here. I will meet you here at the same Soul Spark channel. And remember, coming home to you is not a destination, it's a devotion. Choose yourself because you matter. You're exactly where you're meant to be. And follow your joy spark because it'll lead you back home to you.